The value of it, I believe in. Whoop, that's my maps telling me where to go. Hey everyone, Jason here, architect working in Toronto. This is my daily. It is Tuesday. It's the night of Tuesday. Yesterday I was under the weather and wasn't able to work in the office, so I worked from home yesterday, and I maybe had like 3 functioning hours yesterday. I was pretty off. But yeah, today was a busy one. I'm on my way to pick up a check. I'm picking up some money out in Woodbridge. And yeah, I mean, this is the thing. So I still have a check hold at my bank. And so if I don't deposit this check today, the money won't be released by the 21st, 5-day check hold, for running payroll that gets released on the 28th. So it's kind of crazy. This is the business of architecture. Well, any kind of business is, we have to be so far in advance for payroll. And it's a pain. It's really tough, but this is the business aspect of things, is getting money in advance to be able to pay staff and things like that. And it's hard. But no, there's a couple new developments. So today was a busy day. Got in. There was a bunch, like, basically playing catch up from Monday. I had some proposals I had to send out. So because we're at the end of the year, it's December, we want to land a bunch of projects to position ourselves well for 2023, next year. And so to do that, you have to push. You have to push and have a campaign basically to get new projects for the new year. So I mean, and the same thing's happening with contractors. We're seeing a big contractor push of landing new projects for 2023 or preparing themselves for the next year. And so there's a huge push for proposals for potential clients. You know, everyone's getting ready for the holiday break, the holiday season. So yeah. And in doing so, I was writing proposals today, and in doing so, we've been brainstorming kind of a new format of design services. Since the starting of my practice, I have a mission to somehow provide design services, good architectural design services, for a broader demographic. You know, I grew up, as my wife has corrected me, I grew up in a middle class family. I grew up in a middle class family, and you know, growing up, my parents would not have been able to afford an architect, and that's rather life is unfair, but it's rather unfortunate. You know, most people can afford a dentist. Most people can afford a doctor. They're subsidized. We live in Canada, so I mean, it's public. It's universal healthcare. But I mean, these are seen as rights rather than a privilege. And ever since opening my firm, I've always believed that good design services, good architectural services should be a right. People should have access to this. But then how do you do that as a small practice when margins are razor thin? How do you do that? And I don't have a formula. I'm still figuring it out. And labor is expensive. So for me to have my staff, you know, and paying a living wage, that's expensive. How does that carry forward into design services? That is also, it's a function of human hours, human time. AI has a place, and there's a tool now. You know, it's up and coming, and so we are becoming familiar with AI tools. But so far, it's still a lot of human mind trust that is placed on a designer or architect. So how do we do that? And I came across an interior decorator who was pretty brilliant about it. And she's like, you know, we have this thing where it's like 2D plan, 3D plan, 3D walkthrough, and it's 3 kind of relatively small fees to do that. Not for construction. It's basically ideation. How do you produce ideas And sometimes that's all someone needs. Maybe they're really handy and they can DIY the whole project, but they just need a vision. They need something to build towards, or get a meeting of the minds, or whatever that is. And so we've rolled it out. You'll see in a post on our website, we have a new matrix for interior services, interior design services, and architectural services for schematic design. That's the first phase of ideation, of creating, of generating a space. And we get pretty far. Like, when we design, we're not just pie in the sky kind of thinking. We are trying to root it in some form of reality. To a degree, though, we have to dream as well. Because, what's the fun of it if you're not pushing the limits? So there is an aspect of pushing. But then there's this aspect of, how do we provide this as a service to the general public that isn't going to break the bank? So, if you can spend, $3,000 on a design, that might land you something that will cost you maybe, $100,000 in construction, which is still a lot of money, but like a far cry from the $1 million job. It might become that $1 million project that is worth, really $2 million or something like that. Like, the value of that you extract out of it later on is that much better. My parents, they did a renovation in the 90s, and the main purpose of that was to take care of my grandmother, who her failing health. So we did a main floor renovation, and they spent back then $25,000, which is not a lot of money now, but back then was basically a big chunk of my parents' retirement fund, their life savings. So, but had they had the access to an architect or designer within their means, that $25,000 would have done so much. Like, that same money would have gone so far. So, the value of it, I believe in. That's my maps telling me where to go. Let me just turn that off. There we go. Had they had that, it would have been a very different reality, and we would have had a renovation that would have had even more longevity. Even though what was built, it was actually great. It's like everything my family needed. So, anyway, that's a bit about that. And so, check it out. It's on my website. That's it for now. Today was a good day. I'm exhausted, but at the same time, gonna go pick up this thing out in Vaughan, head back to the office, tie up some loose ends, and then that will be the end of my day. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying this series. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep it going as long as I can. Maybe I'll do 100 days. I don't know, kind of thing. And yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.